when he retired in December last year, he had just closed a $245 million divestiture for the company he was CEO of. And he didn't get a penny. Not 5 cents. And it was foreign to him because when you're CEO, you don't get paid, except for in our model. You don't get paid. So he had done dozens of acquisitions and divestitures in his 27 years. Dozens. And not got paid 1 penny. So, I mean, he jumped on this like a fucking stink on shit. And when he was sitting in the one-on-one time, and I said this to him, his eyes, remember I told you the light bulb went off over my fucking head when that 2-star general said, Peña, a young boy like you ought to be able to get rich in the civilian world. Well, that same fucking light bulb went off over his head, and I just saw his eyes glitter, and he just went to town. Now he's like he said, he analysis by paralysis, by analysis. He does too much fine tuning for me, but not anywhere near as much fine tuning as he used to do. I mean, he said, not here, but he said, I'd still be studying this fucking shit and to present it to the board, and I present it next year at the shareholders meeting. And now he's, already jumped on it. And the guy that was asking not all the questions, but most of the questions, is a guy who lives in Singapore, who is in the industry, who is a high-powered, middle-ground, high-powered guy, Irish guy. And the other guy that asked the question was another Irish guy. See, the Irish guy are all full of shite, blarney. I mean, stiff drinking, a good fuck would kill every Irishman. So, what's the takeaway about Deb? He's probably as refined and structured and still successful that we've had come out of here in a number of years. And but that I'm not. You don't have to be that structured. But his first deal is a $1 billion+ deal, and motivated seller. They've already agreed, I believe, if I remember correctly, 27 or 30%. They're going to take the paper back.
Is it like an equity firm divesting, and that's why?
No, it's
individual principal.
Yeah. And so they've already agreed to. If he can get him 40%, take back the paper. He doesn't need it. He's got enough money in cash flow. Which I tell you got to push for that. And of course, he doesn't want to let the deal go. You know the story, right? You don't want the fish to fucking fall off the hook, right? You got it right up there. You're about to put it in the goddamn net. Now I'm going to ask it. But anyway, takeaways about Deb. He's a Singaporean. He's Indian, but he's born and raised in Singapore. So he's Singaporean.
Default's a bitch.
Default's a bitch. And it is. It's a motherfucker. And even after almost 50 years of habits, I see your defaults a month before they happen to you. So I try to correct, and then and you don't have the balls to tell me this. He's an old man. He's been too many fucking Vesper martinis, and then it happens. I was going to read this email to everybody, but I'm not now. I read it more carefully. I just got hot off the fucking press from one of yous, fucking meathead retards. He's done 3 deals. Private equity. That means he's history.
He's going to default? Is that his problem?
No, he's getting thrown out.
Oh.
No, the private equity are going to be good to me. Mm-hmm. What else about Deb?
QLA everywhere.
Pardon?
Not just for business.
That's right.
Gonna be.
His wife of 30 years probably thinks he's a better fuck now. I don't know. I'm just guessing about that. He didn't share that with me. If you're watching, I didn't share that. And Mrs., he didn't share that with me, but that's normally what happens. I get emails from your significant others. He hasn't had a hard on like this since we were married 20 years ago. Seriously.
He displays his leadership amongst his own team.
Correct. Well, you have to be. You're only as good as your leadership skills, your stroke communication skills.
You're gonna be surprised at your dream team if you build it.
Pardon?
That's what he also said. You're gonna be surprised about your.
Yeah, because you never know what you don't know. You don't know what their real weaknesses and their real strengths are, because you've known them professionally. You've known one side of them. You haven't been partners with them. Okay, you know them by their CV, their resume. PhD engineer, but they don't know that he's only got a 1 centimeter inch dick, and he can't get it. You don't know it until you're in the foxhole with him, in the battle, and not real bullets, but when the financial bullets start flying, you don't know how they're going to react. Josh, had an inkling of what something was going to happen, and it happened.
Which time?
Huh? Which time? Yeah. What else about him?
He submerged himself in his work when he felt like he was going to go to default, so it kind of kept him clear.
Yeah, and if you've never done affirmations, so we have guys that do affirmations 8-10 times a day. He does it twice a day. I only do it once a day now. I told you that. I do it at night, just before I do my prayers. But we've got guys that have been doing affirmations 25 years. You go back, I haven't done this because I'm not an engineer. We got an engineer that looked at the results, and when he was into affirmations and his success was better. I've never done any of that. I already know. Not to fall. It's like your sobriety is 1 day at a time. 1 day at a time. You're only one drink or one fix away from being a fucking drunk or drug addict again. That's it. One. And what else?
Be prepared to raise your emotional bank account.
I mean, he's a preparing kind of guy. But I mean, I prepared, for every hour that I put in the seminar, I normally prepare 1.5 hours before the seminar. And I've given this seminar a jillion times, but it's changed. It's changed a lot since Josh was here. I mean, I continue to update it. And we're using the best. The templates that I skipped over some of the templates already this morning, because you're going to get them anyway, and they're in the 8 gigs. And we continue to update the gigs and the templates on the slides for what works today. And Tom said yesterday, he changed a few words. Being a Navy guy, he probably put in the wrong words, but they still worked. So they don't expect too much from Navy guys. So, if you can't spell, they don't expect too much. So in this country, you spell favor, F-A-V-O-U-R. Okay? That's how you spell favor here. And there's, different idiosyncrasies in different parts of the world. What else? Anything else?
So you helped me reframe the perspective that being uncomfortable will give you a reward far greater than your well-being.
Oh, well, yeah.
It's like my carrot. While I'm being uncomfortable, I know that there's going to be a great reward.
Anything else about Dave? Any questions from me about him?
It seemed like he had the self-confidence and emotional bank account mostly squared away before coming to the seminar. He just didn't have the technical. He didn't have the technical, and he didn't have the confidence that he could do a $1 billion deal. He had just closed a $200 and some odd million deal, and at that time he was only going to do a $100 million deal because he knew he's done a $200 and something million deal. He just closed. You can still see, but now it's, I think some of the things that may have added to his confidence as he's seen monkeys like you, retards, Cro-Magnon closed some big deals. And even though Deb's a gentleman, and he wouldn't say this, I mean, these guys aren't to sweat off my balls. And you're not.
Yeah.
At the end, he said to have fun. So it seemed like that.
Well, he is having fun. Yeah, his wife said he's having more fun than he's had in 20 years. I take that to business. I'm not talking about. But his daughter, who just graduated from St. Andrews University, said, "I've been going to the school 4 years. I think it's 4 years. Maybe it's only 3 years. And you never came to Scotland except to see some old man." I'm the old man, and so. Yeah, and his daughter, he's implanted, this kind of information for his daughter. So normally, when you get out of one of the good schools here in Britain, you go off as Churchill Jr. here would tell you. You go off to a big corporation or an investment bank or whatever. But she's gonna unless her plans have changed, she's gonna go off on her own. She's gonna start her own shit, and so that's good. And I would anticipate that sooner than later she'll be coming through here. Yes, sir.
How you make him increase his goal? He mentions.
Well, I mean, because he saw that the when we walked through the one-on-one time when we're talking about the money that's available in the IT. I said in IT, cybersecurity is the hottest. But I mean, virtually all IT, with the cloud and all that. Half the things he described that he's doing, I don't understand those. I don't know, all those things he was talking about, this integrations. That means shit, you don't have to. Now, he does. But, it's just, you decide to, instead of buying a 10 million revenue company, you decide to buy a 100 million revenue company. That's 10 times. With the greatest respect to Grant, Grant Cardone thinks that he invented 10 times, but I mean, and I got a book from him signed when he interviewed me, but I mean, I was saying 10 times, but while Grant was still in diapers. So, but it's not a new concept. Yes, sir.
Your dream team. Do you need the dream team which is...
Do you need? What do you mean? Yes, you need.
I mean, a dream team which has been in the industry you want to go to?
Well, and there's a controversy, as they say here, because let's say you go do healthcare, and let's just say you do simplistic bedpans, assisted living at the lowest form. It's still, I still would rather have the former chairman of Cardinal Health or some big healthcare company than somebody that owned 25 bedpan deals. Because remember, that almost all the time, these initial acquisitions are just a stepping stone to the next. And so otherwise, I told you that most of the kids have gone through at least one chairman, and they're on their second, some on their third. Josh is doing his head up and down. And maybe a CEO or two, and maybe a CFO or two. I mean, because they're not, they talk a good game. Remember, he said that the guys were getting to know him because you don't know how they really were unless they reported to you or you reported to them when you were at IBM. You don't know. And in today's political correct bullshit, even if you know a guy that worked with him, he's probably not going to tell you the truth for fear that he'll get sued or some shit. So unless you directly were in that working environment with a guy. Now the military guys, I mean, Tom has talked to a couple of military guys that work with these guys, and the military guys, the camaraderie, they're not going to steer you wrong. They're going to tell you the guy's an asshole, and stay away from him. But for the most part, you can't. That's why I'm in the process. I'm hiring somebody. I'm personally getting involved in a hiring process for somebody, and I'm personally going to talk to the former bosses myself, because I want to hear it with my ears from their lips. I don't want anything in writing. Just I'm not taping the conversation, but I want to know what the deal is here. And so after the seminar, I'll be making these 5 or 6 phone calls, and I'll probably get 75% of the truth. Because it's hard to find somebody that say bad words about somebody. Now, I'll say bad words about anybody. I don't give a shit. But I don't give a shit. You have no idea how limitless it is when you're 100%, you don't care what people say. or think about you or gossip about you. Whatever those, I know. I've never worried about it. Never, ever. I'm not sure. I'm sure it's because of my dad, but from when I was a little boy wanting to be a priest, which everybody thinks that's a story. It's the goddamn truth. May Allah strike me fucking dead in this chair. I really wanted. I used to teach catechism. Everybody know Bible study. I taught fucking Bible study. And the nuns used to sit there over me, and they thought I was going to be a priest. And for when you're in a school, a religious type school, and once you send one of your guys off to the seminary or all your birthdays come at once. The nuns were all just flipping. In those days, the nuns wore the old time habits like this, not much different than the goddamn burqa bitches, And they were just so fucking happy. But then something changed. Part of which was puberty for me. And part of which I was Boy Scout. I hadn't thought about this. I was Boy Scout of the Year for the southwestern United States. I went from tenderfoot. Is that tenderfoot is the bottom fucking rung to star. Okay, which is below life, which is below you, in some 60 days, 40 days, unbelievable time. And that's why I asked you, how many merit badges did you need to be an Eagle Scout?
I don't know the number.
Okay, well, I had 18 merit badges to be, you only need like 6 to be a star. I had 18 merit badges, and then puberty set in. I used to get, I used to try to get 2 merit badges a month. And then I remember getting that award, the Boy Scout of the Year for the Southwestern United States. My parents, the only thing I had ever done without beating somebody up or doing something bad, they thought, oh, he's turned the corner. When we talk about goals, my dad only had one goal for me, to keep me alive till the age of reason. One goal, to keep me alive to the age of reason. I don't know if it's going to be when he's 20, 30, 40, or ever. That was it. It wasn't to get good grades, to go to school, to keep me alive to the age of reason, because I was a hellion. They used to call me a hellion. The nuns called me a hellion. Hellion. Anything else about Deb? I will be surprised if this big deal isn't closed by at the latest Christmas. I mean, he's on his way. They're already talking about the positions and the fucking, who's going to stay on, who's not going to stay on. But he's got to jack him up on the lender finance. Okay, YouTube, thank you.